It was a quiet evening in a small-town diner when David, a widowed father, stopped by with his 5-year-old daughter, Emma, after a long day. As they waited for their meal, Emma's bright blue eyes caught sight of a young woman behind the counter, scrubbing dishes with tired hands. Her hair was tucked beneath a worn cap, and soap bubbles clung to her wrists as she smiled faintly to herself. Emma tugged on her father's sleeve and whispered, "Daddy, she's cleaning dishes, but she looks like a princess." David smiled softly, touched by his daughter's innocent words. But the woman's gentle eyes and graceful movements made him pause too. There was something about her dignity in the struggle that made Emma's words ring true. After their meal, David noticed the woman counting her tips, barely enough for the night. Emma walked up to her with a napkin folded into a heart. "This is for you, Miss Princess," she said. The woman's eyes welled up, and she crouched down, smiling through tears. "Thank you, sweetheart. You just made my day." What David didn't know then was that this small act of kindness would connect their lives in a way he never expected, revealing a story of lost dreams, resilience, and second chances. Sometimes, the pure heart of a child sees beauty where the world sees hardship. And that moment can change everything. Over the next few weeks, David and Emma became regulars at the small diner. Emma always made sure to sit where she could see the young woman, her princess. Her name was Lily, and despite working double shifts, she always greeted them with a warm smile. Emma would chatter about her toys and drawings while Lily listened, laughing softly even when exhaustion weighed heavy on her face. One rainy evening, the diner was nearly empty when the lights suddenly flickered out. Emma whimpered softly, afraid of the dark. Without hesitation, Lily came over, knelt beside her, and pulled a small flashlight from her apron pocket. "Don't worry, sweetheart," she said gently, shining the light in the shape of a little star on the wall. "See? Even in the dark there's light." David watched quietly, something stirring in his chest. He saw more than kindness. He saw strength, hope, and grace in someone who had every reason to give up. After closing, he offered to drive Lily home since the buses had stopped running. At first, she refused, embarrassed. But Emma clasped her hand, pleading, "Please come, Miss Princess." On the drive, Lily finally opened up. She had once dreamed of being a teacher, but life had taken a hard turn, her mother's illness, mounting bills, and now, this diner job that barely paid rent. Yet, her eyes still carried light. David was silent for a while, realizing how easily people's stories get hidden behind tired smiles. Emma fell asleep in the back seat, clutching her toy crown, and Lily couldn't help but smile. That night David decided something quietly. He wasn't going to let this princess keep fighting alone. The next morning, David couldn't stop thinking about Lily's story. Her kindness had touched something deep inside him, a reminder of the days when he and Emma struggled after his wife passed away. He had worked tirelessly to give his daughter a better life, but he knew how loneliness could eat away at a person. A few days later, he returned to the diner without Emma. Lily was cleaning tables, humming softly under her breath. When she saw him, she smiled politely, not expecting anything unusual. David sat down and quietly placed an envelope on the counter. "You once said you wanted to teach," he said. "Maybe it's time someone helped you start again." Inside was a check large enough to cover her tuition and a few months' rent. Lily froze, her hands trembling. I can't take this," she whispered, her voice breaking. "You've already done enough." But David shook his head. "You gave my daughter something priceless, hope. She saw beauty where most people see struggle. You deserve to see it too." Tears welled up in Lily's eyes. No one had ever believed in her dreams this way. She nodded silently, unable to speak. A week later, when David brought Emma back for lunch, Lily wasn't in her apron. She was sitting with a notebook and books spread before her. She looked up, smiling brightly. "First day of classes," she said softly. Emma jumped in excitement. "Princess is going to school," she squealed, clapping her hands. David and Lily exchanged a look of quiet understanding. Two lives had crossed by chance, but what they gave each other would last a lifetime. Months passed, and Lily's life began to transform. She was studying education, balancing part-time shifts, and slowly rebuilding the dreams she had buried years ago. Each week, David and little Emma visited her, always sitting at the same booth, sharing stories, laughter, and small lessons about courage and kindness. Emma adored Lily. She would draw pictures of Princess Lily, teaching in a big classroom, surrounded by smiling children. To Emma, she wasn't a waitress anymore, she was magic in real life. One chilly winter evening, David received a letter. It was from Lily. Inside, along with a photo of her holding a teaching certificate, was a note. "Thank you for believing in me when I couldn't believe in myself. Because of you and Emma, I finally found my purpose again." David smiled, his eyes moist. He showed the letter to Emma, who beamed and whispered, "I told you, Daddy. She's a real princess." A few days later, they visited the community school where Lily now taught. She stood in front of a group of kids, her voice warm and confident. When Emma ran up to hug her, the entire class watched in awe. Lily knelt and hugged her tightly. "See?" Emma said proudly. "You saved me with stories. Now you're saving them." Lily's eyes glistened. "No, sweetheart," she said softly. "You saved me first." As David stood watching, the afternoon sunlight streamed through the classroom windows, casting a golden glow on them. In that moment, he realized something profound. Sometimes, the smallest hearts see the biggest truths. And in a world often blinded by status and struggle, one child's innocent words had turned an ordinary waitress into someone extraordinary, a princess of hope.